Hello, chocolate lovers. Welcome to today's episode of Culinary Cuisine Journey. I'm Kip Ferguson, and today we're unwrapping one of the world's most beloved indulgences, chocolate. Whether you enjoy it in the form of a smooth, rich bar, a decadent truffle, or a warm cup of cocoa on a chilly day, chocolate holds a special place in hearts and stomachs around the world. But chocolate is more than just a sweet treat. It's a food with a deep, fascinating history and a cultural significance that stretches back thousands of years. From the ancient civilizations of Mesoamerica to the gourmet chocolatiers of Europe, chocolate has undergone an incredible transformation. In today's episode, we'll journey from its early beginnings as a bitter, sacred drink to the sweet, luxurious confections we enjoy today. We'll start by exploring chocolate's origins with the Olmecs, Mayans, and Aztecs who believed that cacao was a divine gift. From there, we'll travel across the ocean to Europe, where chocolate evolved from a spicy beverage into the creamy bars we know and love. And of course, we'll dive into the modern world of chocolate, where craft and artisan makers are taking chocolate to new and exciting heights. So, whether you're a casual chocolate fan or a full-on chocoholic, this episode is sure to satisfy both your curiosity and your sweet tooth. Grab a piece of your favorite chocolate, sit back, and join me as we unwrap the rich and delicious world of chocolate, from bean to bar. Let's travel back in time to discover where chocolate, in its earliest form, first emerged. While today we enjoy it in all its sweet, solid, and creamy glory, chocolate's journey began in the tropical rainforests of Central and South America, where the cacao tree naturally grows. The first people known to cultivate and consume cacao were the ancient Olmecs, one of the earliest Mesoamerican civilizations. The Olmecs lived along the Gulf Coast of present-day Mexico around 1500 BCE, and they are believed to have been the first to discover the potential of the cacao bean. While there aren't many records of exactly how the Olmecs used cacao, they likely drank it as a bitter liquid, a precursor to what we now think of as chocolate. Centuries later, the Maya civilization perfected and popularized the consumption of cacao. For the Maya, cacao wasn't just a drink, it was deeply embedded in their culture, religion, and daily life. The Mayans made a drink called chocolatl, which translates to bitter water. This was no sugary treat like today's hot cocoa. Instead, it was a frothy, bitter beverage made from roasted cacao beans mixed with water, spices, and sometimes chili peppers. They poured the drink from one vessel to another, creating a foam on top, which was considered the most desirable part of the drink. The Maya believed that cacao had divine origins. According to their mythology, the cacao tree was a gift from the gods, and cacao itself was often consumed in religious rituals. It wasn't unusual to see cacao included in sacred ceremonies, sometimes offered to the gods and other times enjoyed by the elite members of society during important events. Cacao was also used as a form of currency, with cacao beans being so valuable that they were sometimes traded for goods and services. After the Maya, the Aztecs continued the tradition of cacao, but they took its reverence to new heights. In Aztec society, cacao was considered so valuable that it was literally worth its weight in gold. The Aztec ruler, Montezuma, was said to have consumed gallons of chocolatl every day, believing it provided him with energy and virility. In fact, the drink was reserved almost exclusively for nobility, warriors, and priests. For the Aztecs, chocolate wasn't just a drink, it was a sacred symbol of power and luxury. One of the most famous stories surrounding the early history of chocolate is how it reached Europe. The Spanish explorer Hernán Cortés is often credited with introducing chocolate to Europe after his encounter with the Aztecs in the early 16th century. Cortés observed the importance of chocolate in the Aztec court and saw its potential as a valuable export. He brought cacao beans back to Spain along with the recipe for chocolatl. However, the Spanish quickly transformed the bitter drink to better suit European tastes by adding sugar, vanilla, and cinnamon, making it sweeter and more palatable. As chocolate spread through Europe in the 1600s, it became a fashionable drink among the wealthy elite. Chocolate houses, similar to coffee houses, began popping up across Europe, where the rich and powerful gathered to sip their hot, spiced chocolate. The drink remained a luxury item for centuries, with only the wealthiest being able to afford it. But chocolate's journey was far from over. The discovery of the cocoa press in the 19th century by Dutch chemist Konrad van Houten revolutionized the way chocolate was produced. The cocoa press could separate cocoa butter from the cacao bean, leaving behind a powder that could be mixed with other ingredients to create solid chocolate. This process allowed chocolate to be mass-produced, making it more accessible to the general public. By the mid-1800s, chocolate bars, as we know them today, began to emerge, solidifying chocolate's place in culinary history. Another leap in chocolate's evolution came with Swiss chocolatier Daniel Peter's introduction of milk chocolate in the late 19th century. By combining powdered milk, developed by Henry Nestle, with chocolate, Peter created the first milk chocolate, which soon became a worldwide favorite. The addition of milk transformed chocolate from a rich, dark luxury into a creamy, sweet treat that could be enjoyed by everyone. Today, chocolate is a multi-billion-dollar industry with countless variations, flavors, and forms available. Yet, it's fascinating to think that this beloved treat started as a bitter, sacred drink consumed by ancient Mesoamerican civilizations. The story of chocolate is one of innovation, adaptation, and cultural significance, truly a journey from bean to bar. When cacao first arrived in Europe in the early 16th century, it sparked a revolution in how the world would come to know and enjoy chocolate. Hernán Cortés, the Spanish conquistador, is often credited with bringing the cacao beans back to Spain after his expedition to the Americas, though it is possible that Christopher Columbus had encountered cacao during his earlier voyages without recognizing its potential. Upon its introduction to Europe, chocolate was initially consumed much like it had been in Mesoamerica, unsweetened and bitter, often spiced with ingredients like chili peppers. However, this version of chocolate didn't appeal much to European tastes. The Spanish were the first to experiment with chocolate, mixing the bitter cacao with sugar, vanilla, cinnamon, and other spices to create a much sweeter, more palatable drink. This transformation was pivotal in making chocolate a coveted delicacy throughout Europe. By the early 1600s, chocolate had become a fashionable beverage among the Spanish aristocracy, enjoyed in the courts and homes of the wealthy. From Spain, the love for chocolate spread across Europe, finding its way into the courts of France, Italy, and beyond. In 1615, Anne of Austria, the Spanish wife of King Louis XIII of France, introduced chocolate to the French court, where it quickly became a favorite of the French nobility. The association between chocolate and royalty only strengthened as it became a symbol of luxury and indulgence. As chocolate's popularity grew, so did the creativity of European chocolatiers. In Italy, chocolate was mixed with a variety of flavors, including citrus and jasmine, to create new and exotic concoctions. In England, chocolate houses, much like coffee houses, began to spring up, offering the elite a place to gather and enjoy chocolate beverages. By the late 17th century, these chocolate houses had become hubs of political and social activity, where ideas were exchanged over cups of rich, spiced chocolate. But the way Europeans consumed chocolate was still quite different from how we know it today. Until the 19th century, chocolate was primarily consumed as a drink. The shift from liquid to solid chocolate was one of the most significant transformations in its history, and it all started, as we mentioned earlier, with the invention of the cocoa press in 1828 by Dutch chemist Konrad van Houten. This machine revolutionized chocolate production by separating cocoa butter from the cacao beans, leaving behind cocoa powder that could be used to create a smoother, less fatty chocolate. This also allowed for the creation of solid chocolate, paving the way for chocolate bars and other confections. Following this breakthrough, chocolate manufacturers began experimenting with solid forms of chocolate. One of the most famous innovations came in 1847, when British chocolate company J.S. Fry & Sons created the first chocolate bar by mixing cocoa powder, sugar, and melted cocoa butter into a moldable paste. This marked the beginning of chocolate as we know it today, something to be eaten rather than sipped. The final key development in Europe's transformation of chocolate came from Switzerland in the late 19th century. Daniel Peter, a Swiss chocolatier, is credited with inventing milk chocolate in 1875 by combining powdered milk with chocolate, creating a smoother, creamier version of the treat. This breakthrough, along with the innovations in mass production, made chocolate more affordable and accessible to the general public. By the end of the 19th century, chocolate had transformed from a bitter drink enjoyed by the elites to a beloved treat available to people of all classes. European innovation had taken the cacao bean and shaped it into the diverse and delectable forms of chocolate we enjoy today. As the 20th century dawned, chocolate underwent a significant transformation. What was once a luxury item reserved for the elite had become a mass-produced treat, accessible to the general public. This shift was driven by advancements in manufacturing and the rise of large chocolate companies, many of which are still household names today. One of the pivotal moments in the mass production of chocolate was the founding of the Hershey Company by Milton Hershey in 1894. Hershey, a visionary entrepreneur from Pennsylvania, believed that chocolate could be made affordable and available to the masses. His factory utilized cutting-edge technology to streamline the production process, allowing for the creation of inexpensive, high-quality milk chocolate. By the early 20th century, Hershey's milk chocolate bars and iconic Hershey's Kisses had become staples in American households. Across the Atlantic, in the UK, another brand was making waves: Cadbury. Founded in 1824, Cadbury became synonymous with smooth, creamy chocolate and is credited with creating the world's first heart-shaped chocolate box in 1861, forever linking chocolate with Valentine's Day. Cadbury's Dairy Milk, introduced in 1905, quickly became a bestseller, known for its rich, milky taste. These brands, along with others like Mars, began to dominate the chocolate market, using industrial-scale production to make chocolate an everyday indulgence. As chocolate production scaled up, the process became more refined. Companies introduced tempering machines to ensure a glossy finish and smooth texture. Mass production allowed for the invention of countless new products, from chocolate bars filled with caramel and nougat to chocolate-coated candies like M&Ms, which were originally created for soldiers during World War II because they didn't melt easily. However, while mass production made chocolate widely available, it also led to the homogenization of flavors and a focus on cost efficiency rather than quality. For much of the 20th century, chocolate was largely seen as a sweet, sugary snack, with little emphasis on the complexity of the cacao bean itself. That began to change toward the end of the 20th century, with the rise of the artisanal chocolate movement. Artisanal chocolate makers sought to return to chocolate's roots, focusing on the purity of ingredients, the quality of cacao, and traditional methods of production. Small-scale chocolatiers began to source single-origin cacao beans from specific regions, much like wine or coffee, showcasing the unique flavors and profiles of different beans. One of the pioneers of this movement was Swiss chocolatier Lindt, whose innovations helped spark a renewed appreciation for high-quality chocolate. In the 1990s and 2000s, more chocolatiers followed suit, launching bean-to-bar operations that prioritized direct trade with cacao farmers, ensuring better pay and working conditions, and highlighting the ethical aspects of chocolate production. This shift gave rise to a new era of chocolate appreciation, where consumers became more aware of the complex flavors that different cacao beans could offer. Artisanal chocolate is often made in small batches using traditional methods such as stone grinding or conching, where the chocolate is mixed and aerated for hours, sometimes even days, to achieve a smooth texture and refined flavor. The focus on single-origin chocolate allows consumers to taste how cacao beans from different regions can produce vastly different flavors. For example, beans from Madagascar are known for their fruity citrus notes, while those from Venezuela might offer deep, rich cocoa flavors with hints of red berries. The complexity of these flavors is what differentiates fine chocolate from mass-produced varieties, where the emphasis is more on sweetness and less on cacao quality. Another hallmark of artisanal chocolate is its commitment to sustainability. Many artisanal chocolatiers are dedicated to using organic ingredients and fair trade cacao, emphasizing the importance of supporting cacao farmers and minimizing the environmental impact of production. This stands in contrast to the practices of some large chocolate manufacturers, which have historically been criticized for exploitive labor practices, including child labor, in major cacao growing regions of West Africa. In addition to ethical sourcing, artisanal chocolate makers are also experimenting with bold and unexpected flavors. While traditional chocolate bars are often paired with nuts, caramel, or fruit, today's artisanal creations may feature intriguing combinations like sea salt and lavender, chili and lime, or matcha and white chocolate. These bold flavor pairings push the boundaries of what chocolate can be, offering a more sophisticated and adventurous eating experience. As consumers become more interested in knowing where their food comes from and how it's made, the artisanal chocolate movement continues to grow. This has even led to the rise of chocolate tasting events, much like wine tastings, where people can sample different varieties, learning to identify the complex notes and profiles of various cacao beans. While mass-produced chocolate remains a favorite treat for millions around the world, artisanal chocolate offers something different: an experience. It's about savoring the intricate flavors, understanding the story behind each bar, and appreciating chocolate as a craft. Whether you're a fan of a simple candy bar or a rich single-origin dark chocolate, modern chocolate culture is now a blend of accessibility and artistry, where both mass-produced and artisanal chocolates can coexist, offering something for everyone. Chocolate's appeal is truly global, with each culture embracing and incorporating this beloved ingredient in its own unique way. While its origins are rooted in the ancient civilization of Mesoamerica, chocolate has traveled far and wide, taking on different forms, flavors, and cultural significance along the way. In Mexico, chocolate has the deep historical roots and remains a symbol of heritage. The Mayans and Aztecs revered cacao as a sacred gift from the gods, consuming it as a bitter spice beverage. Today, Mexico still honors chocolate in traditional dishes like mole, a rich and complex sauce made from chocolate, chili peppers, and spices, often served over chicken or turkey. Hot chocolate, or champurrado, is also a popular drink, often enjoyed during festive occasions. Mexican's hot chocolate is still prepared in the traditional way, using a molinillo, a wooden whisk, to create a frothy texture. In Europe, chocolate became synonymous with luxury and indulgence after it was introduced in the 16th century. Each European country developed its own chocolate traditions. Belgium is famous for its fine pralines, delicate chocolates filled with creams, nuts, or fruits. Belgian chocolatiers like Godiva and Leonidas are known for their artisanal craftsmanship. Meanwhile, Switzerland has earned a reputation for producing some of the creamiest milk chocolate in the world, thanks in part to the innovations by chocolatiers like Daniel Peter and Lindt. Swiss chocolate is a national pride, with Swiss citizens consuming some of the highest amounts of chocolate per capita in the world. In France, chocolate is seen as a culinary art form. French chocolatiers take great pride in using high-quality cacao to craft rich, dark chocolate creations. French pastries and desserts often feature chocolate in elegant forms. Think pain au chocolat, eclairs, or chocolate mousse. Chocolate shops or chocolatiers are a staple of French cities, offering intricate creations that blend flavor and aesthetics. Across the globe, in Japan, chocolate has become a symbol of gifting, especially on Valentine's Day, where it's customary for women to give chocolate to men. Japanese chocolatiers have embraced this tradition with a twist, creating delicate and artistic chocolate confections, often incorporating unique flavors like matcha, yuzu, or sakura. From Mexico's rich cultural history with cacao to Europe's fine chocolate craftsmanship and Japan's inventive artistic approach, chocolate has become a cherished part of culinary traditions worldwide. Each culture has added its own flavor and flair, turning chocolate into a truly universal treat. Chocolate, beyond its rich history and cultural significance, is full of fun facts and exciting new trends that keep this beloved treat consistently evolving. Did you know that the world's largest chocolate bar weighed over 12,000 pounds? It was created in the UK in 2011 by Thornton's. This gigantic bar set a Guinness World Record. Or did you know that chocolate was once used as currency? The ancient Aztecs valued cacao beans so highly that they used them to trade for goods. In fact, 100 cacao beans could buy you a turkey. Here's another quirky fact. Napoleon Bonaparte was such a fan of chocolate that he insisted it be available during his military campaigns, believing it provided him with energy during long battles. As for today, chocolate trends are continually pushing boundaries. One of the most popular trends is that bean-to-bar chocolate, where small artisanal chocolatiers are overseeing the entire process from cacao bean sourcing to the final bar, emphasizing quality, sustainability, and ethical practices. This movement has created a new wave of chocolate connoisseurs who appreciate the unique flavor profiles of single-origin cacao. Unusual flavor combinations are also taking center stage. Craft chocolatiers are experimenting with intriguing ingredients like sea salt, chili, lavender, and even bacon. You'll also find health-conscious chocolates that cater to dietary needs, such as vegan, dairy-free, and gluten-free options, as well as chocolate made with superfoods like matcha, turmeric, and quinoa. Sustainable and fair trade chocolate is gaining momentum too. As consumers become more aware of the environmental and ethical impacts of chocolate production, they are seeking out brands that support cacao farmers and minimize environmental footprints. From quirky historical facts to modern innovations, chocolate continues to surprise and delight the world, both in taste and creativity. And that wraps up today's journey through the rich and delicious world of chocolate. From its ancient roots with the Olmecs, Mayans, and Aztecs to its transformation in Europe and the mass production that made it a global favorite, chocolate's history is as complex and intriguing as the flavors we enjoy today. It's fascinating to think that what began as a bitter drink consumed by Mesoamerican elites has evolved into a beloved treat enjoyed by people of all ages and cultures worldwide. We've explored how chocolate became synonymous with luxury in Europe, how it shifted from a drink to a solid confection, and how modern trends like bean-to-bar production and sustainable sourcing are changing the way we appreciate this timeless indulgence. Whether you're a fan of a simple milk chocolate bar, an adventurous taster of bold flavors like chili or lavender, or a connoisseur of single-origin dark chocolates, there's no denying that chocolate has a special place in all our lives. As we savor our favorite chocolates, it's also important to remember the people behind this treat, the cacao farmers who work tirelessly to bring the beans that become the chocolate we love. With growing awareness around ethical sourcing and sustainability, we can make choices that support fair trade practices and ensure that chocolate remains a delight for generations to come. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Culinary Cuisine Journey. I hope you've enjoyed learning about chocolate's fascinating history and modern innovations, and maybe it's even inspired you to indulge in a piece or two. But our culinary adventures don't end here. Next time, on Thursday, we'll be taking a step back in time to explore the dining customs of the Victorian era in England. The Victorian period, known for its strict social hierarchies and elaborate dining rituals, offers a glimpse into a world where the dinner table was a stage for both formality and extravagance. From the role of the butler and footman to the meticulous rules of etiquette and the multi-course feasts enjoyed by the upper class, Victorian dining customs were more than just about food. They were a display of status and sophistication. Join me as we uncover the intricate details of Victorian dining, from the ornate table settings to the fascinating menus that included everything from turtle soup to jellied meats. It's a glimpse into a time when how you dined was as important as what you ate. So, dust off your finest china, because next Thursday we'll be dining in true Victorian style. Until then, keep exploring, keep tasting, and, as always, enjoy the journey. Bon appetit.